right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be loading up into map number 1 here, the first game of the round of 16 here in DreamHack Bucharest. Apollo and Joris are bringing you all of these fantastic games. And don't forget to check out the community streams as well, who are also doing the round of 16. I do believe Zucker and Hasuobs are casting Sage's game.
Yep, that's right. So do make sure to check them out. There's only 3 Koreans left in the tournament. Are we going to see one drop out here, or is one going to move on? We're about to find out. Freya has got a difficult task ahead of him. Freya actually has one of the best Protoss versus Zergs out there. He's got a fantastic PvP, but he's shown weaknesses against Terran, which is why I think he may struggle against the STC. For example, Freya plays a lot with Cass. I mean, I've seen a lot of their games together, and he usually loses the majority of them. And the STC seems to be a little bit of a level above an opponent like Cass. So I think this could be a difficult game, but anything's possible here at DreamHack.
That's right. Let's see what these guys manage to come up with, what kind of strategies are employed, because map number 1 is Daybreak, and we are now into the game. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning in the bottom left position as the red Terran player, we have representing Quantic Gaming, the STC. His opponent spawning in the top right position as the blue Protoss guys, representing Roxkiss. Give it up for Freya.
All right, so both of these are semi-finalists of the DreamHack 2012 tour. We saw Freya actually get to the semi-final of DreamHack Summer, which is a massive feat considering that is a slightly larger tournament and there's stops throughout Europe. The STC, his first DreamHack tournament was a couple of weeks back in Valencia. Managed to get semi-final as well. Unfortunately, couldn't quite go to the final, but a semi-final finish on the DreamHack ISO Open means that you get 20 points. Exactly. 20 points, which almost guarantees your slot in the DreamHack Winter Finals. And now they're in the top 16. That's another guaranteed 5 points. So they're at both 25 points. So you're pretty much going to see both of these guys at DreamHack Winter. But now it's going to be who can go deeper in the tournament, who can take the glory, who can get the money, the girls.
The fame.
The fame. I was going to say something else.
The record label contracts.
It's a little bit too early for that, other words I was going to say.
But no, you're absolutely right, Apollo. Both of these guys on 20 points and guaranteed another 5 from getting into the final 60. Now, of course, 25 doesn't mathematically, I think. Does it guarantee you a spot in the finals? It probably does. Yeah. So Fire and the STC both have 25 points for being in the round of 16 here. So it's more than likely we'll be seeing both of them in the ISO Open Grand Finals. And a little bit of a Rax in the center of the map. And the oh my goodness, the SCV goes down to the probe, and that barracks doesn't get completed just yet. That's going to be a frustrating setback here for the STC.
Yeah, I mean, he's opened up for this proxy barracks Marauder style. The SCV, another one comes in that will most likely finish it here. But this is incredibly delayed. The SCV is going to be useless in terms of building any bunkers or something. And to be honest, I think he may just back off and not even attempt it. He didn't throw down a tech lab initially. He looks like he's just going to use a factory in the main base instead. Build a marine, may even pick up the barracks and get out of there because this has just been completely shut down. And this is a really strong and great start by Freya in game 1 of this best of 3. A really great mental start to this game too. And there's the factory coming down in the main base. And what a fantastic start for the Ukrainian going into this, knowing this is a difficult opponent, but getting an early edge at this stage of the game. He must be feeling pretty good with himself, but edges like that can easily be dropped if mistakes happen.
It really can, especially going into the later game as well. But like you mentioned, great start here for Freya, and it looks like that probe is going to go down. Another Marine does pop out of that barracks, which is indeed Apollo being floated back. Factory in the main base, probably the more sensible decision from the STC right there. Gets scouted, the SCV gets taken out, massive delay like you mentioned, and immediately setting that rally point back inside his own base. And Freya now going to be moving out with a probe of his own, supported this time by a Stalker.
Yeah, and look at that, he's actually built a Zealot and 2 Stalkers without looking for a Nexus here. He's kind of boosting into the Nexus himself in his main one. But he's got double gases down. Let's see what Freya's got planned here. He can easily expand off this, but he is looking to put a bit of pressure on the front door. Unfortunately for Freya, though, there is going to be a bunker. There's going to be Marines inside the bunker, and there's going to be a complete wall off, too. So he's never going to be able to break that down. But look back at home. Here are the extra gateways, and now we know what he's going to look to do.
All right, so going up to a total of 3 gateways here as a little bit of a prod at the bunker. Not going to be able to do too much damage, though, and that Zealot actually getting dangerously low on health, managing to pick up the SCV building that supply depot, which is a nice little move there from Fry. Needs to be careful, though. He doesn't lose that Zealot on red health already.
I think the SCV jumped into the bunker just at the last opportunity there, and he does complete the wall off. But there's a quick pause, have lag, so we're just going to hold on for a second. We see a Twilight Cancel coming down as well. The Twilight Cancel at this stage of the game is going to be for Blink. You know, we've got a Sentry down that's coming out now. With 3 gateways, if he wants to go Dark Shrine, he's only at 150 gas. He's going to have to start to save up. So we're most likely going to see Blink here. But it looks like everything's ready to go. We can jump immediately back into the game. We're going to have a little bit of a countdown, most likely. Oh, no, we are in the game. So let's see if Fryer can use this aggressive stance to break down the STC, who's currently getting a reactor on a barracks, building factory or building Hellions, and a Medivac here.
Yeah, so it looks like we're going to be seeing some Hellion drops possibly into the base of Fryer. Going to try and do a bit of harassment to make up just a bit for those setbacks that he suffered earlier on in this game. We'll find out if he can do that moving forward. We also have a robotics facility now about halfway complete as the Twilight finishes in the back of the main.
Yeah, and the robotics facilities there are going to be for the Observer to give vision, most likely. But right now, he's not building any units. So if he's not going to build units, he will have... Okay, so there's Blink coming down. I was going to say that he is leaving this a little bit late not to build any units. But there's Blink, so it will be the initial plan. Hellions have made their way out, though. And this Medivac is going to act as a bit of a dummy here, I think, more than anything else. It's going to drag units away from the ramp.
Oh, that's
And that's going to allow these 3 Hellions to just walk in.
Yep.
But is Fryer going to fall for it? He's left a Sentry on the ramp here. He's going to have to nail this force field.
Oh, it all comes down to this one Sentry. Great foresight leaving the Sentry on the ramp, though, just in case something comes in the front. That Medivac is completely empty, and here come 3 Hellions. The probe does see it. Do we get the force field at the ramp? Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. 2 force fields. A Hellion sandwich there, ladies and gentlemen. But there isn't another one available, so we need to bring some units in to make sure they can't move up, and they really can't. Now, look at that. All 3 Hellions taking heavy fire and 2.5 going down.
Oh, that was pretty cool, wasn't it? Denied that quite easily. And I think the SCC did give Fry a bit of a heads up there, you know, targeting down the probe and the natural. He did see no Nexus, though. So even though he lost the Hellions, he gets a bit more information on what's going on. Now he throws down another bunker and building more Marines. But we're about to have a lot of Blink Stalkers entering the field, and this is going to be a really difficult task for the SCC to hold on to. He's trying to get a tank out. A tank's going to help a lot, but if he gets 2 out, I think he may be okay. Oh, there's a Banshee down here, and it just passed a couple of Stalkers that do have Blink, and that easily could have gone down. There's no cloak on it, but unfortunately, Fry didn't quite notice that.
So close. We have a Raven coming out now as well for the STC as Fry expanding behind this. Nexus popping down now, looking to change his aggressive stance here into hopefully something a little bit more substantial. We have the Observer in the main base, but the Raven is going to pop in about 30 seconds or so. No, 20 seconds now. So if he wants to blink up and use that Observer to his advantage, he needs to do that relatively quickly. And there we go, into the main base, immediately targeting down the tank. And the Medivac goes down as well. Excellent play there, but he is within range of the bunker. He has to move back a bit as the Banshee gets into the main base of Fryer.
And the SCC really needs another tank out to actually fight off those Stalkers. The Banshee's going to go down. Does get 6 kills, though. And 6 kills on one base is pretty damn good. The Raven comes out now. Auto turret and a lot of Marines here. And then with the tank behind it, this will get pushed back. And Fryer now loses this stance. I'm not too sure. I'm sure he'd lost his Observer. Now the Raven came out too.
Yeah, he did.
And, well, that's not going to do anything now. And the STC has got a bit of breathing room. In a couple moments' time, what we'll see is another tank added on and Siege Tech, so he can basically guarantee his natural. He's even going to lift up and take it now, knowing that Fryer cannot possibly try to continue this. 2 bunkers, about 20 Marines now, per se, 15, 20 Marines, a couple of tanks. The game will continue from this, and it's been quite a wacky game so far.
Well, the STC is feeling relatively confident at the moment. Like you mentioned, the Orbital Command now on the low ground. The Stalker is going to give it a little bit of grief, but the Raven almost getting picked off there. That should be able to get repaired by an SCV. Good attempt there from Fryer. We currently have 36 to 34 workers in favor of our Terran buddy here, as Fryer looks to continue to pile on more pressure. Almost picks off the Raven once again, but those Stalkers are getting pretty low, a couple of them.
Yeah, and so it's a pretty equal game. There's not too much difference between these 2 guys. Fryer has to be very careful not to lose these Stalkers. The STC has a technology advantage, though. You know, he has Siege tanks out. He's got a Raven that he can repair. He's got Stim on the way, compared to Fryer, who's just at Blink Stalkers. Blink Stalkers are great, But against a lot of tanks with siege mode and a bunch of Marines and even a point defense drone protecting them, it does become a little bit scary. And what's even scarier is the SEC's out in the middle of the map here. He thinks that Fry's completely backed off, has stopped producing Stalkers.
Yeah, and the Raven's not with the army as well, so the Observer sees absolutely everything. And Fryer ambushes the Raven, and this time he is going to get it. The Observer was not picked off because the Raven was busy being repaired, and a lot of SCVs going down at the natural expansion. Number of workers killed going up to 11. And Fryer looks like he's trying to engage, just realizes he can't with the tanks in the back, and he's just going to get the heck out.
Yeah, and look at the SEC correcting his mistake from earlier. Like, there was no reason to be on the Xel'Naga Tower, to be honest. What is he really protecting down there? He's only protecting map control, but when an observer's over your army, he just runs past it. So a little bit of a mistake there from the SEC. Gives Fryer a nice little edge. Observer again on top of the tanks, and now he's lost that Raven. He can't really get rid of it. The Marines are getting focused down here. That's really bad again from moving down, and Fryer takes this opportunity, jumps on, picks on 2 Marauders, and then just passes off. But look at the units lost tab. I'm sure it's not going to be pretty. Look at that. That was equal for a very, very long time, and then all of a sudden it just pushed in favor of the Ukrainian. And the STC feeling a bit of pressure here.
Now we have now got, very nice, the Scouting Factory going to be landing at the third base. They're preventing Fryer from taking that, but I wonder how much of that is a potential fake out, because we have a War Prism moving out across the map now. Neither Watchtower is taken by the STC, so he will not see this War Prism with an Immortal and 2 Zealots in it, by the way, get to his main base until pretty much the last second, and that is where both Stim and Combat Shields are being recharged. Stim is going to finish. There's only 5 seconds left on that, but the Combat Shield upgrade is looking pretty vulnerable.
All right, look at that nice little engagement in the middle here. Stim is done, and it will go down, but there's a lot of units here, and with Blink as well. Look at the micro. He's been able to blink these Stalkers back, blinking forward as well. These units are going down, and then don't even get me started on the War Prism. That's about to enter the main base as well. There it comes in, an Immortal and 2 Zealots. That is so incredibly strong, and then with the units on the front, Fryer is putting the pressure on, even warping in units too, and what he needs to do at the very same time is walk to the natural, and he could actually take this game right here.
Picking up the Immortal and moving towards the natural. That's exactly what he's about to do. He's going to drop on top of the tanks as the Stalkers move in here, forward, blinking, and the War Prism giving him that high ground vision required to pick off that second tank. The army supply is currently 45 to 34 in favor of Fryer, and he is inside the natural expansion. All of the SCVs are going down, and the STC is in such a difficult position here.
He is in a difficult position. +1 attack is about to finish in 5 seconds, though. It might give him a bit of an edge. Remember, it's just, gateway units now against Medivacs, Marauders, and Marines. And, well, as long as they keep on microing well, bring the units back, he will be able to out-micro these Blink Stalkers, I think, here. Marauders are so damn good, and now that +1 attack is done, the STC will survive for now, but he lost a bunch of SCVs there. 22 in total have been killed in this game. A third Nexus is going down, and even Colossus coming into the fray. And without the quiet setup of economy that the STC needs, he doesn't have upgrades, only that +1. He doesn't have anything else. He doesn't really have any Medivacs out either, only a couple, and they're very low in health.
Oh, very nice. Picking off an Immortal there in the middle of the map. Fryer forced to blink back once more. Don't forget the War Prism did actually survive through all of that, and Gravitic Drive has been researched by our Protoss player, so he's going to be able to zip around when convenient, and we now have another Immortal and a Colossus joining the party here.
And the STC does know about the Robotics Bay on the natural. He knows about that third base as well, so he is feeling the pressure, moving around, just clearing out these pylons. Well, he doesn't know, necessarily that the Nexus is there, but he sees a pylon. He knows that Fryer was looking to take it earlier on, so by now it has to be there. He's retreated. He's not putting his money into army, so obviously it's going to be there. So immediately the STC is going to throw down a third base. He's got +1 arm coming. Oh my god, it's not even a third base, a new one. It's actually lifted up from the main here. His main is basically mined out, but his gases aren't. So, if you think about it, sure, he's going to be able to mine from his main base, but the gases have so much more value left in them.
It really, I'm a little bit surprised, actually, that he's opting to lift that up as well, but I guess his mineral income is just a little bit stifled at the moment, and looking to get that on track as soon as practically possible. We have 1-1 coming in for Fryer as well, and he's going to be able to he's actually going to be able to finish 1-1 before the STC does, and a little bit of lag going on in the game. It's quite likely we're going to have a little bit of a pause here.
Yeah, all right. So as this just gets fixed out, no, it's not GG yet. Calm down, production.
Yeah.
It's just a pause. Right now, though, we look at the production tab in the game. We've got Colossus on the way. We've got 1-1 on the way. Fryer set up absolutely beautifully. The STC couldn't quite afford to be able to go for a new command center because he needs to build Vikings. He needs to build more units because if not, he's just going to get steamrolled in a minute. And it's going to be a very difficult road for the SEC to crawl this back. He's playing from quite a far behind point in the game. And I don't really know what he can do here. He's going to have to really look cost efficiently, maybe trying to pull the army down south or north and then drop. And if he can get in and do damage without losing anything, then absolutely he can come back in the game. But is that going to happen?
That's a pretty tall order, actually. And we also have the fact that he was basically on one mining base for a while lifting up that command center, going over to the third base location as well. And we're basically mining off of 3 bases now on Friar's half of the map. So the STC needs to get some pretty heavy damage done. He needs to get it done very, very quickly.
And more gateways are coming now as well, because Friar's now taking a third base. He's able to have an extra set of income. So therefore, he's throwing it into gateways. He can have, and already does have, sorry, a Twilight Council down. He can research Zealot Charge and go to 2-2. And things are just going to start to snowball if we don't see the STD do something within the next 30 seconds to a minute. Anything more than that, then it's going to be too late, especially now that Colossus are coming out. Once Colossus, there's only one out or on the way at the moment. So that means he's very weak. He's not actually strong at this current point in time. So there is an opportunity for maybe the STC to get in there with a couple of drops. But it looks like we are now ready to jump back into this game. Well, let's find out if the STC can actually come back from this deficit he's put himself in. Basically, from the very start of the game, through going for that proxy barracks, put him in a situation he didn't really want to be. And it seems like there may still be an issue here, as we can see on screen, and you guys at home can see it too. Still getting lags. Not too sure what that is. We'll see if it smooths out a bit.
Hopefully it does in just a moment. Now, one thing that the SEC does have going for him, oh, never mind, is we have a War Prism over here at the third base location, and considering he lifted that command center up from the main, this is not what the SDC wanted, but he has got that small army out in the middle of the map, which I was going to say potentially could take out the third, but it looks like he's actually hightailing it home with that, just to be on the defensive so he can consolidate his economy here.
And that's another small jab in Freya's favor when that's meant to be the STC doing these things, as mentioned before. So, you know, the STC is running out of time in this game. Zealot charges on the way. 1-1 is soon to finish. There's 6 gases available, 3 Colossus out. God, I think I underestimated that before. And then 2-2 is going to start too.
We have the rocks in the center of the map being destroyed here by the STC. Now, Apollo, we typically see this in late game where one player is so confident they can win that they just want to be able to stream units across and have that shorter attack route. But in this case, the STC are playing from a little bit behind, actually going for those rocks in the middle. Is that a wise move?
Well, right now, fighting heads up is not. He's going to have to drop, and there it is. So he's going to lift absolutely everything up. Is there an observer anywhere near? Oh, dearie me. The STC is about to walk into this 1-2-3. MC Apollo is back.
Oh, good God. The Stalker's getting into position, and he's going to blink to the edge, actually. He wants to give him as little notice as possible, and here we go. Blink Stalkers take out 1 medevac, 2, 3, 4, and 5 go down. Now, we did actually get a decent amount of units out from that drop, but with all the medevacs down, this is inevitably going to go down pretty quickly indeed, and Friar takes a 30 supply lead.
Well, that Colossus just standing on the Marine saying, I don't need to use my rays. I will stomp on you until you leave this game, and absolutely everything was pushed out there by the STC. And as mentioned, he had to do something drastic. He tried something, he took a risk, it didn't work, and now he's even further behind than he was before that even happened, with 2-2 on the way. Zealot Charge finishing up, a lot of Chrono Boost available, and it looks like Freya here is just going to go ahead and take a 4th base. He's like, you know, you just threw everything at me. You've got nothing to stop me taking a 4th base. I can build units, I can tech up. Templar Archives coming down, 4th base coming down. And it looks like we are going to have a Ukrainian victory at the moment. The STC going to fight in the middle of the map. He's got a handful of Vikings. But to be honest, anything's still possible until Storm comes out. But with 2-2 near completion, the STC, I don't even think has started his own 2-2. Hasn't even got an armory down, throwing all his money into his army, knowing that he has to rebuild it.
Yeah, we have a 20 worker lead for Friar as well, so economically he's just doing very, very well. The SEC going to attempt another drop. The Observer once again is going to see it, but we don't have Stalkers in place, I think, to handle this. And oh, they're going to drop on top of the Forges, Apollo. This could be absolutely huge for the SEC, something he really needs. And here we go, 3 medevacs worth of units, but Friar with the entirety of his main army now moving towards a 3rd base. There aren't many Vikings out on the field. Both Forges have gone down. But what can he do against this army?
Exactly. If he can somehow beat this army down, maybe. But even if the upgrades are going to be stagnant for a little bit in this game, he's still got to contend with 4 bases. But the STC with a massive drop in the main base, this could be the one thing. Now he needs to find and figure out a way to beat 3 Colossus and a Mortal and a bunch of Charged Zealots. They are at 1-1, as you mentioned. Gateways are going down, so it's going to be very, very difficult for Freya to actually reinforce this. And he's going to retreat here. And that's going to give SCC the option to take that 3rd base back. And in the middle of the map, he may be even able to catch these units. And he's going to try to.
Oh my goodness, this could potentially be so good for the SEC. He has to make sure that that small Bioforce in the middle of the map stays alive. He crucially needs that for defense if Freya manages to clean this up and move back. Now, the medevacs are still alive, so he can pick up and get out of there. And the production structures are just being absolutely decimated, Apollo. There's just not much left for Freya to produce from. It's spent so long moving
It's going to bring down a Nexus as well. The STC with the biggest drop I've ever seen here. And look at that. He's going to get out just as units come. But the problem is that 6 to 8 gateways are in production. The Templar Archives is down. There's 2,500 gas in the bank. And that means as soon as he has a couple pylons coming down Jarasaw, he's going to be able to build like 20 High Templar. And there's no Ghost Academy down. There's a bunch of Marauders. Sure, they're going to be able to tank a bit of Storm damage, but I don't see the composition that STC has in the next couple of minutes able to beat the upcoming army. And as soon as those gateways turn into warp gates, I'm sure the very unit we're going to see is just nothing but High Templar coming in. There they are starting to warp in.
Yeah.
And can he weather the storm in this game?
It's going to be so difficult. Psionic Storm now completes as well. Those gateways are completing too, so he's going to be able to get a lot of his production back up. The Robo we see in the main base has now just completed Chrono boosting out another Observer as well. Which I like. Let's see if he uses that to follow the medevacs just in case they pop in to drop again, because they're kind of stuck in the corner at the moment. They know that there are Blink Stalkers out, but the STC has a decent amount of supply actually held in that drop, and he needs to think of a way to get that out of the top right corner. And yes, the Observer goes straight for the medevacs, so Freya has not forgotten that they are there.
STC is trying to kill Freya now. He knows that he's got this momentum. He doesn't want to slow down the game again because there's 4 bases down. The Storm, 2-2 can easily start again. So he's not building a second engineering bay in armory. He's throwing all his money into his army. He's trying to drop in the main base. He's trying to get positioned down here. Let's see if he can do it, though, because Storm is available on 4 High Templar here. He's trying to pull Freya out of position. And here comes the steady march down. A couple of units will go down immediately, but he's going to have to fight. Oh my God, Storms! Where are they going to hit?
There you go. Very nice 2nd and 3rd Storm there. 3rd Storm actually being dodged a bit by the SEC, and now we have the drop coming in at the natural. The SEC is doing everything he can to try and win this particular engagement, and Freya is scrambling to defend at the 3rd. Great Storm on the drop, actually. All of those medevacs going into red health. Another fantastic Storm at the 3rd. STC does not even bother attempt to dodge that. He has a lot of units here. The natural expansion does get cleaned up, but look how many units. The
Templar Archives is gone, so no more High Templar, only gateway units available. Is the STC going to be able to pull this back? He's going to bring a 3rd Nexus down.
No energy on the medevacs.
Still a beefy army indeed. He can't even stim, because if he stims, his units are going to be so low health that, as you can see, they're...
Oh, good God! Ladies and gentlemen,
flank.
that was such a good storm there from Freya. Those medevacs have no energy, guys. This army cannot heal itself. I really don't know. This is so unbelievably knife edge right now. Even bringing probes with this army, I think Freya knows he might have a chance if he completely takes this out. Let's find out if he can do it, though. Here we go, charging in at the 4th base. A lot of probes from both sides.
Yeah, Marauder's not so good against probes and zealots at this point of the game. He's microing so well. Look at that stutter step micro from the STC. Oh, okay, no, what are you doing? He loses so much there. A miscontrol. The STC throws away so many units. And it looks like the income tab just a little bit in favor of the STC, with Mules being able to mine, but that Natural's pretty much mined out by now, as you can see, down at 1 base, and he may start to lose his speed in this game, as the Freya is, or still has a lot of probes. He's rebuilt Nexus.
Mistakes just going down from both sides here. I mean, a lot of frantic micro going down. These guys this really has become a bit of a slugfest, and Freya has hit the panic button a little bit here because the Dark Shrine is about to complete.
Yeah, Dark Shrine is going to help out so much because he knows that the STC has very few orbital commands. He's not going to be able to scan at will. DTs could change the entire game. One scan goes down, but that even hurts his economy if you think about it. And now Freya starting to stabilize. The supplies are relatively equal. DT's now coming in, and this is going to be an annoyance for the STC, who may not be able to deal with it. And we are going to have a push forward by the STC.
He has to do something soon, though, because if we take a quick look at the income tab, the STC is actually mining twice as much as Fryer is at the moment. Good preemptive storm hitting some of those medevacs there, and it looks like the charge lots are willing to engage because the second and third storms go down. And what's, oh my goodness, that fourth storm was absolutely brilliant from Fryer, but he needs the ground army to back it up.
Oh, that's another storm that goes onto that army. There's no more. Oh, DT's going to come into the mix now, and I'm sure he has to defend it with DTs at home too. So he doesn't really have the scans available. And there the DTs are coming in. I don't think the STC has any energy whatsoever. He's running away. These orbitals, he's using the mules all the time. There is a turret there, which is going to help out in that third base, but the STC is using SCVs, and they're going to die pretty fast.
Oh, very nice micro there with those DTs, actually. Fryer able to move out with both of the ones at the third base, despite the turret being there, almost getting an SCV surround, does the STC. He is currently at 28 harvesters to the 61 of Fryer. Fryer just needs mineral patches to mine from effectively now. We have got the fourth base in the bottom right up and mining again. So as far as the income goes, the tables have turned once more.
Yeah, and this is where Fryer's starting to stabilize. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Colossus come into the game again very shortly, but that is a lot of storms available.
It really is, and here we go. SCV is even being pulled from the third base here to attempt to assist. We have 3 Archons trying to buffer the damage at the front here. Good amount of splash damage available. Needs to be so
many
careful.
Storms going down, but he's not really doing anything. The army's still at the back here, and the SDC is evading so much of this.
But that bought him enough time to get a warp in of Zealots, though, Apollo, and they're going to be able to tank just a little bit of damage while some more goes down in the back. But I agree, the first 3 or 4 storms there were, I would almost say, wasted, because they didn't really hit very much.
Yeah, that's all he had in that army. The Archon gets stuck there on the ramp, and the SDC has another opportunity to do something again. 4 more storms, not quite available. They only just got warped in. One's on that one. High Templar, though, and it does hit. Only killing off 2 Marines, though. Does lower down a lot of the health, and the SDC lifted up his orbital from the naturals, mining from the middle. 5 more gateways coming in. That is going to be where the STC is going to crumble, because 5 more gateways with 1,500 minerals in the bank, mining off all these different Nexi, then he's just going to be able to warp in so many Zealots, and this Marauder-heavy army is going to really struggle against that. And then we do have +2 on the way finally coming out by Freya, and middle base taken as well.
Yeah, and the super important thing to note as well, guys, is even though those last couple of storms didn't outright kill a whole massive bunch of the army, if we take a look at the medevacs from the STC, they don't have much energy on them. They've been constantly healing from damage taken from the storm. So they're not going to be quite as useful once we get into a huge engagement here, as we have a little bit of a drop going on in the bottom right. Good feedback on the medevac there, and a warp and a Zealots will be able to clean this up.
Is Fryer going to be able to hold on to this game? The SDC is throwing everything at him. And like I said, the SDC is not looking to play long term. He's just trying to wear him out and kill him as soon as he can, even though it's taking a lot longer than expected. Marines get into the probe line again, and that's going to pull Frey out of position. He's having trouble dealing with these drops. He does have Blink Stalkers, remember, so this should finally go down. He's not using Blink yet, and the medevac's going to get out. Good God. And the SDC continues this. He's now making a movement down. SCC doesn't know about all those High Templar.
Oh my goodness, there we go. Forcing a stim, dodging a storm there as well. Second storm goes down, just slowly depleting the energy on these medevacs, and we have Zealots moving in at the forward base of the STC. Another great storm goes down, a second one to clean it up. Only 2 medevacs left on a little bit of HP, but it's not going to be enough there, and GG Fryer takes game number 1.
He does indeed, and well, that was a bit of a struggle to close it up. He had the game so close for the majority of it, but couldn't quite get to it for a very long time there. The STC played absolutely fantastic considering the circumstances he was under, for sure.
Yeah, it was a really very scrappy at times, actually, from both sides. Really a bit of a slugging match there we saw in a boxing ring between those 2 guys. But Fryer able to maintain his advantage at the very end of the game. There's some excellent storms against the main army and just about managing to cover the drops from the STC as well. So we're going to be going into a quick commercial break, guys. Fryer currently up 1-0 against his Korean opponent. Can he close it out and make it into the round of 8? We'll find out straight after this. Wait, 10 minutes is...
Hardcore vibes that are on things. Hey, yeah. Hardcore vibes that are on things. Hey, yeah.
This one is dedicated to all the ravers in the nation.
Hardcore vibes. Hardcore vibes. Hardcore vibes. Hardcore vibes that are on things.
To all the ravers in the nation. To all the ravers in the nation. To all the ravers. To all the ravers. To all the ravers in the nation.
Hardcore vibes that are on things. Hey, yeah. 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 Hardcore vibes that are on things. Hey, yeah.
To all the ravers in the nation. To all the ravers in the nation. To all the ravers in. To all the ravers in. To all the ravers in the nation.
Back, everybody, to DreamHack Bucharest here, live from Romania, as we're about to jump into map number 2 between these two fantastic players, Freya versus the STC. Currently, we have Freya leading 1-0. He needs one more map to make it to the grand show starting this afternoon. One more map to make it to the top 8 here to pretty much guarantee his position in the DreamHack Winter Finals later on this year.
That's right. It was a pretty crazy, pretty scrappy game number 1 there. Both sides really taking pot shots at each other at every opportunity. We saw a couple of failed drops from the STC throughout that game, but then we saw some pretty good harassment later on as well. The problem is, by that point, Freya's army and his income was getting to a point where the longer the game went on, the more he could do. And his storms as well, maybe not quite in the penultimate engagement, but have just been fantastic all game long. So let's see if he can carry that forward, guys, into game number 2 here, because we have spawned on the lovely map that is Ohana. In the top left-hand corner is the red Terran, ladies and gentlemen, representing Quantic Gaming. Can he make it back and tie the series up 1-1? We have the STC. His opponent in the bottom right. He's currently up 1-0. Can he do it? Can he 2-0 his Korean opponent representing Rockskiss Gaming? We have Freya. I think we can hear the crowd favorite here for Apollo.
Yes, it's a very close country to Romania, Ukraine. And Freya's done a lot online, not so much offline. I mean, in terms of international tournaments, he did get the semi-final at DreamHack Summer, which was a fantastic victory for him. In 2011, was a very, very quiet player. He didn't do anything, really. In 2012, he's come out playing absolutely great. He was, I think a lot of people predicted him to be a great up-and-coming Protoss for 2012. And he's starting to show that now as the later of the year.
Yeah, Fryer's one of those
rolls by.
players. He doesn't have that many offline tournaments, but he's in. If there is an online tournament, he's usually just in it. If it's in if it's in EU, and he has so many. He has countless results in online tournaments, just first, seconds, and thirds all over the place. Pretty much one a week, as far as we're concerned, if not more than that. So it's great to see him translating those great performances into good offline play as well.
And the STC is old school, if that exists in StarCraft 2. Playing in the very, very early days of StarCraft 2 in the GSL. Then did go on a, well, not really go on anything. He did go to the military in 2011, and then came back in 2012 to play StarCraft 2 again. And he's been having a great year, joining Quantic Gaming, getting a lot of results down, and he's looking to capitalize on his semi-final victory, or semi-final. It was a victory for him, I'm sure it was. Semi-final is a lot of points, and he actually joined the circuit of DreamHack to actually qualify for DreamHack Winter Finals. So semi-final at Valencia is absolutely a victory for him if his goal at the end of the day was to qualify for DreamHack Winter, and he's pretty much done that now. But as we are starting to see this match develop a little bit, we have 2 supply depots, and that can be scary because, yes, it can mean that one barracks command center can come down, but with 2 supply depots, that means you can continue to build SCVs, you can continue to build Marines, you can throw down extra barracks instead. So, you know, Fryer, despite knowing that it most likely is going to be a 1 barracks command center, doesn't necessarily know that yet, and does decide to throw down a gas. And likewise, this is a little bit complicated for the SEC. Seeing a double gas is like, well, you know, when do you really go double gas and not do anything with that gas when you go for it so early on? If it's not going to be tech initially, it's going to be for a lot of centuries or fast tech as soon as he does expand.
It's going to be a little bit frustrating for Fryer not being able to confirm for sure what the strategy is until a little later on. I wouldn't be surprised if he sent out another scout very shortly indeed, or if that Zealot was going to attempt to just poke a little bit up the ramp. Indeed, he's not actually stopping at the forward watchtower. In fact, if we take a look at the waypoints, he's actually going all the way to that natural. So he does want to confirm that that expansion is there. But a couple of Marines will be meeting him out in the middle of the map here, and that Zealot needs to be careful. And we have a bit of a StarCraft Master moment going on here. That Zealot looking like he might not survive with good micro. One of those Marines, though, is 1 point away from that, and good. Both sides do end up backing off there. And I think at this point, with those Marines at the ramp sort of coming down to try and take the watchtower, Fryer might be able to infer that the expansion is down.
And look at this in the main base of Fryer. We've got 3 gateways in total now, so he is going to try something here. We'll see if he's going to play exactly how we played before. Yes, he is, because there's the Twilight Council as well, so we are going to have a blink play again. This time, though,
Base is under attack.
the STC set up a lot better. He's got a bunker down, he's got 3 barracks, he's got a lot of Marines. He may even be able to catch a unit here. He's going to kill that Zealot immediately, as it was half health before, and that does fall down.
Oh, very nice. Not losing a single Marine as well. A couple of them getting
the
onto
STC
low.
has an SCV in the main base.
Oh, dear.
And he saw the non-natural. He's going to see gateways in the Twilight Council. Oh, dear God, Freya. He's just been revealed completely. He even loses that Stalker down to red health, and that SCV that made its way in has just revealed everything here.
Well, he's going to continue doing what he was doing anyway, though. We have the robotics facility going down. A blink is now going down as well. But, yeah, like you said, any potential element of surprise now really has been dampened quite a bit as Stim now starts for the STC.
Yeah, and he's a little bit supply bot there. Stuck at 38 supply. Hurts a little bit. Reactor Tech Lab coming down immediately. 2 Tech Labs and a reactor. He doesn't want to rush out to get any units. He's just trying to build a lot of them. And with 2 Tech Labs, he's going to be able to build 2 Marauders per time here. And Marauders are going to be the key. There is going to be an expansion coming down anyway here for Fryer, so he's just going to put a bit of aggression on. But with a bunker in absolutely fantastic position inside the main base here, it's going to be very difficult for him to use an observer to blink in. You know, it's going to be very difficult to actually walk past that bunker or do anything on that bunker on the natural too. So if Fryer doesn't do anything from this, if he just bounces off these bunkers and has to go back and retreat to his late nexus, then obviously the SEC is going to be miles ahead. He's going to have Stim +1. combat shield all out before any proper tech from Freya kicks in.
Yeah, that's a great point there, Apollo. And also, the bunkers are just in such good positions here that even if Freya wanted to blink in and maybe try and pick off the tech lab researching Stim, it's going to be so difficult for him to do that without sustaining a lot of losses. And there are enough bio units out here just chilling out, waiting for the upgrades to finish, that that's not really a viable option for Freya at this stage. So the STC playing nice and carefully, even having a couple of SCVs behind the bunker at the natural, just to make sure nothing catches him off guard.
He's going to send out an SCV and says, oh God, there they are, there the units are. And we'll most likely just bring down a couple of units. And
Ooh.
I don't even think that bunker's going to go down there. There's not enough damage output. And Freya gets shut down again. Let's hope he doesn't throw any more money into units. And as I say that, he builds 2 more Stalkers. And this is going to get worse and worse and worse here for Freya. As Stim is about to be done. Combat Shield's about to be done. And then when +1 is done.
Oh dear. Picking off the Observer as well.
That's a good force field, but I don't think it's going to be enough here as the SCVs repair that bunker and he's losing Stalkers left and right. And they're going to have to blink out here as the Marauders come down. And now Stim is done. And they can even Stim down and catch a lot of these Stalkers. And there's a Stim. He's going to get a bit of damage done. The problem now is going to be how the hell does Freya stop simple Marine Marauder Medivacs from coming and killing him?
It's going to be very difficult, man. I mean, at the end of the day, he used a lot of resources invested into those attacks, and they just really didn't work out for him very much, and the STC is smelling blood on the counterattack here. The units lost tab really is a one-sided story at the moment, so let's see if the STC is able to make it up the ramp. 1 Marine getting stimmed up just to test the waters there. There are a couple of sentries potentially to force field off, and the STC won't be able to move straight up and win the game from this unless something horrific happens, but he's putting a lot of pressure on Freya right now.
Yeah, the STC is basically moving out to make sure that Freya's not just shooting straight up to tech, making sure he's warping in sentries, making an immortal and so on. Because if he does rush straight up to tech, maybe he could fight off the STC, but if the STC prevents that from happening, then as soon as these medivacs make the field, and with 2 more barracks as well, the pressure's going to mount up. And I'm not sure how Freya's going to be able to hold on to this. It's going to be very, very difficult unless the STC makes a mistake. I think he's going to be able to walk this one over, but anything's possible here.
The Zealots are in the back. They need to get to the front of this army if he wants to engage a head-on, which is what Guardian Shield implies there. The Immortal getting picked off very, very quickly indeed. And those Zealots are getting kited back by the rest of this army. If he wants to crush this army, he has to do it before the Medevac's coming, because once healing pops into place, it's going to be super difficult. Blinking back with the Stalkers now, but they are on so low hit points. 3 Marauders still left. Can he do it? It doesn't look like it. And Freya successfully takes apart the army before the Medevacs show up.
Indeed, but it's not quite over yet. I think the STC's got quite a power punch coming, especially now +1 armor's done. Remember, there's no forges down. There's nothing really here for Freya to hold on to. He doesn't have any higher tech. Only just now is the robotics bay coming down. If he gets a robotics bay down, then yep, he can do it. Without the robotics bay, then I don't really see it. As now the medevac's coming down. If he loses a medevac carelessly, though, remember these are blink Stalkers, and well, he doesn't quite pick off the medevac, but he gets it down to a little bit less than half health. But now the streaming amounts of units are coming down. A Tech 11 reactor coming down onto these units, onto these new barracks as well. With a new Immortal out, he's going to push this back. There's only like 3 Marauders there, and that's a good blink. Good cost-efficient blink there, especially if the Zealots get into the front. And this is more like it, getting a good amount of units killed there for not losing too much.
Ooh, needs to pick off the medevac there. Almost does it on red health. Great damage output by the Zealots, and the Immortal this time being held comfortably. And Freya now establishes a position at his own watchtower, something he hasn't really been able to do for a while because of that pressure from the STC earlier. And both sides have now taken their 3rd bases.
And Freya managed to survive, managed to keep STC down, and with the robotics bay finishing the first Colossus on the way, Freya successfully held this off. He's got his 3rd Nexus down, and the STC is going to see it before the factory dies. He's going to see that 3rd Nexus. And the STC hasn't quite been able to mount the right amount of units out. I think he got supply blocked a couple of times here to prevent the units from streaming out as much as he wanted them to. He's got a lot of medivacs here, though. But still, 2 Marauders and 3 Marines isn't going to really do anything, is it, here?
Yeah.
He sends in small little chunks. But he does have the upgrade advantage at 1-1 and is about to start 2-2 when the armory is done on the top left, as we can see in the production tab. And the STC is only just now, Freya is only just now starting his forges.
That's right. He's trying to get back into this. As far as upgrades are concerned now, he might just chrono boost out as many upgrades as he can, as quickly as he can. But don't forget, he needs Colossi to deal with this bio army as well. And that's a lot of medevacs actually in support for the STC this time around. The Observer does actually see all of it. Are we going to see a scan taking out the Observer? It doesn't look like it at this time. He might see it a little bit later on. And extended thermal lance is about 3/4 of the way complete. There goes the observer. So, ooh, actually picking up to feign a drop just before there. And it looks like Fryer is actually willing to engage here before thermal lance. The STC was not expecting this, you can tell. A couple of medevacs going down almost instantaneously here. And the Colossus now being targeted down, being microed back at the same time, and the Immortal doing a fair chunk of damage too.
Oh, these are 1-1 units, though. And now with the Colossus gone, even though there's hardly any Marine Marauders, look, the upgrade advantage is so big, and every single unit falls down, and the STC takes a comfortable victory there. And like you said, he wasn't expecting it because he's a 1-1. How can Fryer move out like that with a single Colossus, no upgrades? And now Fryer's on the back foot. Another stim goes down. And these Zealots, as soon as they go down, that Colossus will get charged. And there comes the charge. Marauders make their way through, and down falls the Colossus. And the STC, with just a handful of Marines and Marauders, is going to bring down the pain to this third Nexus. He even has 2-2 on the way as well.
This is looking very difficult now for Fryer. He's currently down 120 to 65 supply. And exactly echoing your sentiments there, the attack wasn't expected, but that's because it's not designed to be able to work. And as soon as the STC realized that, with the upgrade advantage, able to outmaneuver his opponent in the center of the map here, continuously warping in units to frantically defend. This Bio Army isn't on that much health, but the problem is there isn't enough DPS from Fryer to actually take it out. And GG, we have the series tied up here at 1-1.
The STC, in game one, you know, despite playing from behind the majority of the game, he really did show something that not a lot of Terran players can do, to play from that position and almost win, very close, almost won. And in that game, he went into it a lot more equal, a lot more level with his opponent, and then we saw his true colors shine through, being able to scout well. That SCV should have never gotten into that main base to see that.
Yeah.
And Fryer played from behind that game. So we've had two different kind of games, both players playing with an advantage, with a disadvantage, but that means we're going into a final third map, which I do know. No, I don't know. I'll tell you in a minute when I do know.
We'll find out in just a moment.
I think it may be Clown Kingdom, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. But it's all to play for here. Remember, the winner of this gets to move on to the grand show, the big show.
Antigua. There we go.
Ooh, Antigua Shipyard. And Fryer's had a lot of experience on Antigua Shipyard in many different online tournaments in the European scene. And the difference, though, between the European scene for Fryer playing against Terran players in the European scene are a lot more passive than the STC would play here on the Antigua Shipyard. So I think STC is going to play quite an aggressive game. Antigua Shipyard is very difficult to defend against drops. You often see many Blink Stalker openings, not as extensive as we saw Fryer do, but you know, one gateway expand into one Forge, one Twilight Castle to get Blink out to defend against multiple drops. Colossus play is not as strong here. Double Forge play not as strong either. So very interested to see what Fryer is going to bring to the table, because STC is a very fierce and difficult opponent to face. I mean, he's Korean.
Well, I mean, if anything, the STC showed us how good his reactionary play was in that last game. Like you mentioned, the SCV should never have gotten into the base, but as soon as he saw the Twilight Council, that bunker placement into the main really just completely shut everything down before Fryer even considered blinking up into it. We saw the Observer move up and realize, oh, wait, I can't actually blink up here and do any damage. And from that point onwards, Fryer really felt like he was on the back foot. The STC continued applying pressure, and it was just very, very good at reading at what Fryer was trying to do, reacting to his plans, and making sure his own play was stronger. So let's see if we have more of the same from the STC here in game number 3, or if Fryer is able to channel some of the spirit that got him that epic Game 1 win in that scrappy game on Daybreak. Guys, we're going to be going into Antigua Shipyard.
There we are. Let's go ahead and introduce these two fine players.
That's right, guys. So spawning in the bottom position on Antigua Shipyard as the red Protoss player representing Rockskiss. Guys, can he take it 2-1? It is Fryer, who's going to be playing the absolute Korean boss in the top position as the blue Terran representing Quantic Gaming. We have the STC.
One map from moving into the round of 8. One map from playing on stage in the booths, getting the all-important DreamHack music out when you win, coming onto the stage, maybe a little dance, maybe a bit of banter if you win, moving on to the semi-final, could even go to the final. if one of these win this map. So I'm just thinking long-term here for these players. But I'm sure neither of them are actually thinking about that at the moment. It's all about Antigua Shipyard, the map we are currently present on, even checking around for proxies or maybe just hide a barracks as well. Okay, he's going to hide a barracks down here. Mind games, every little detail that's going to come out in this game is going to be ever so important. Every inch of scouting. And so far, we do not see a gateway come down yet. Are we going to have, is Fryer going to have the balls to go Nexus first here without seeing any barracks down?
Yeah. It's what he sees with this probe is going to make him think, oh, hang on a second. I
He
just
might
want to
have
make
to
sure.
go for a late gateway. If he's going to go Nexus first here, expecting, you know, maybe command center down, the likelihood of a proxy barracks is so high. And he is going to continue through with Nexus first.
Yeah, he's going to try it, man. And credit to him for sticking to his guns here. That probe continuing to be annoying in the mineral line just for a second as the barracks will now complete. And the probe, there we go. Nexus first going down. Does the probe see the barracks? Still hasn't. Oh, so close to seeing it, Apollo.
Oh, every Protoss in the world right now, upon seeing that, is like, oh my God, what is going on? I've just decided to go Nexus first in Antigua Shipyard. Is this the worst mistake of my life? As the probe is actually scouting out, trying to find it here. And to be honest, he's probably after going to go 2 gateways right off the bat, maybe, just to chrono boost out Zealots. We'll see. But if he doesn't see anything, he may actually just take the gas and aim towards a normal standardized play. But Fryer taking a couple of risks, especially considering the STC did open up with, you know, a proxy or attempt of a proxy marauder, but in this game he is going to be able to get away with it.
Yep, he has faith that the SCC is going into something normal, and fortunately for him, we are just going to see a transition into a 1-Rax gasless expand from the STC in the top part of the map. Fryer now, he's taken that gas. The Nexus is about to complete, so he will get mining from that relatively shortly, and a confirmation that the Marines are out and about as we have a little bit of a cheeky bunker going down behind the mineral line.
An attempt of a bunker, and probes are coming down already, expecting something like this. And they're going to go straight for the Marine here. The Marine's like, no, what? That's outnumbering me. 7-1. And unfortunately, 7 probes beats 1 Marine. So that Marine's going to have to walk its way back. Mineral tricking through. Oh, nice dodge by the SCC there. That was pretty cute from Fryer initially to mineral trick through to get the full surrounder. That was a quite nice turn there by the SCC. And this will get pushed back, but look at how many probes weren't mining there. That's quite a long way.
Exactly, at about 40 minerals a minute, that's at least, well, that's basically 200 minerals worth of mining if they were out and about for a full minute. There's 7 probes chasing that Marine, and the STC just putting on a bit of pressure there, trying to make sure his opponent's timing get pushed back ever so slightly, and now he's going to be adding on 2 additional barracks.
Look at that SCV, just pops into the main base, it's like, good day, mate, what do you have in here? And is looking around, gets a scout of the single gas, he even gets the gateways down too. Nice little control in the middle of the map, 3 Marines going to be able to bring this Zealot down. Nice control by the STC, really nice control there. Look at that, wow. Dancing Marines all day long.
Very, very nice micromanagement there from the STC. We now have a bunker going down, trying to prevent an additional scout going off, and it looks like a probe is going to be able to get past that Marine. Not going to see too much other than there is a mule at the natural expansion, though. As long as he doesn't get up into the main, I'm guessing there aren't too many panic buttons that are going to be pressed here, and the Marine will get that probe.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really see too much. He saw a lack of SCVs down there, but that just means that, I mean, it's quite normal at this stage of the game. You can't really predict that there's going to be a 3rd command center down, and the only way he's going to find that out will be the robotics facility. But this game is, you know, starting to play itself out quite normal. A 3rd gas now taken for the SCC, looking to go up to the factory shortly as well.
And that 3rd gas wasn't actually spotted by that probe that went in as well, so Fryer has no idea how much gas the STC has or where he's going to be spending it.
All right, so 2 sentries being walked in. Another bunker coming down here for the SCC, who has gone 3 command centers, doesn't want to take any risks. Just wants another bunker down. Fryer has shown aggressive play in each and every game so far. Where are these sentries going? Are they moving across the map here? There is a probe out. Looks like the sentries are going to stay put, but uh-oh. A couple more gateways being added on here by Fryer, and that's what I was getting a little bit worried about here. With a probe moving across the map, he's going to enable himself to build a pylon, and there that is. And with sentries already warped in here, he's going to try and bust this front ramp. And there's the pylon. 2 bunkers are down, but with a third command center in play, how delayed is Stim? How delayed are actual units coming out here? And the STC has absolutely no way to scout this unless he lands a money scan. Oh my god, he scans in the main base, but he doesn't see anything. And that is so misleading. Everything's hidden on the natural. I don't know if he's going to scan again on the natural here. If he's going to now say, all right, well, where is everything? Well, oh my god, what am I actually seeing here? Because he's seen nothing. If he salvages that bunker, I'm going to scream.
Oh, this is... He does see 2 Stalkers here, so nothing really given away yet. These Sentries and the Zealots are going to be moving back. The bunkers are still out on the map at this time. And here we go, Guardian Shield turning around. Force Field's trying to trap a good chunk of those Marines there. And dear, oh dear, has he bitten off? No, there we go, managing to pick them off. Needs to be very careful because a lot of Sentries are in the front here and more Warpins of Stalkers are now popping by. The bunkers have not been salvaged, you'll all be pleased to know. SCV's being pulled now, trying to defend against this. And we're going to be picking apart some workers here on Antigua Shipyard. But Fryer, not quite exactly what he wants yet to bust this down. Those SCVs got into position quite early.
Yeah, I mean, he used all the force fields to kill that segment of army up, but that is incredibly tense. STC lost so much there for so little, and that army is increasing, and Fryer is going to start hammering down this front door. There's only 2 bunkers. The third one is being made. Stim is seconds away. Look how close Stim is. It's not ready, and Fryer's going to go in before, and he could actually win the game here. Is he going to be able to? 2 bunkers remain. SCV's pulled. Stim, so close. Look at it, seconds away. And when that is done, there are so many Marines here.
Oh, this is so unbelievably tense. Fryer going around the bunkers, which is a great move to avoid that damage. But like you mentioned, Stim is now complete. And +1 attack, actually, is 15 seconds away from completion as well. So the STC can use this to attempt to break down this army. Will he be able to do so, though? Kiting back into reach of one of the bunkers. An excellent move there from the STC. But he is currently down to 59 supply versus 98 of Fryer, who's moving in.
+1 is done. I think he waited for +1, and now he sims with +1. Will he have enough here? The units are going down so incredibly fast. There are so many Stalkers targeting down the Marauders here, Jarsar, and I don't think the STC has what it takes to hold it. Freya may have done it. Freya may have knocked out one of the 3 Koreans in this tournament and may have got himself a slot on the main stage in the quarterfinals.
Oh my goodness. We have a little bit of SimCity going on with the factory landing, trying to delay this attack as much as possible, but the starport being taken out now as well. And Fryer in a commanding position in this game. The Stalkers annihilating absolutely everything.
And one of the community casters already knows this game is over. He's already left. He doesn't want to see the end of the game because he knows how much trouble the STC is in. The STC is trying to recover, trying to get Medivacs out. He needs to build that starport, needs to get them out. He will be able to maintain his higher ground. But behind it, a third Nexus is down. Blink is on the way to make those Stalkers even stronger than they already are. Double Forge is on the way. The STC's got a cheeky expansion on the right-hand side there. If it continues to cool down mules, maybe he may even be able to get a Medivac out initially and ferry some SCVs across and then come back and use it with his army. But I don't think that this is going to go too long unscouted. I think Fryer would be smart to send out a probe to check here.
Yeah, and the big problem is as well, he has the probes to mine from that third base as we are now moving up the ramp, trying to pick off a couple of units. I think the STC will be able to hold it right here, but it's 65 workers to 31 in favor of Fryer at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Even if there is another base out on the map, the STC really has to get those SCVs pumping if he wants to get back into this game economically, as the double upgrades now being chrono boosted out.
And once again, there's going to be this window of opportunity where the STC is going to be quite powerful with Medivacs. But as soon as 1-1 finishes, the upgrades are going to be neglected. Combat Shields is going to come into play for SCC, will help that out. But then we're going to have Zealot Charge. We're then going to have Storm. More gateways are going to come. As you said, there's 65, if not more, probes out at the moment. And right now, probe production has stopped. Fryer's saying, all right, that's enough. I've got enough income. Let's just goddamn buy a bunch of gateways and make sure that not what happened in game number 1 repeats itself here, because he's got a victory so close. He is so close to moving on another level at this tournament.
That is a great decision as well from Fryer, wanting to make sure he has the unit count so that he isn't susceptible to any of this play. And oh my goodness, the Zealot is going to spot the hidden expansion here from the STC. That will not please him one bit. Immediately going after one of the mules, and that command center gets lifted up instantaneously here. That is going to be so frustrating. Fryer now mining almost twice as much as the STC as his supply looks to skyrocket. Even a Dark Shrine going down as Storm finishes.
That's a very strong army from the SCC, especially now Medivacs are in and Apostle Armor is very close, but there are 2 Eye Templar with 2 Storms, I think, or close to 2 Storms, together. They may even have a couple of Storms each, but the SCC is going to have to dodge these Storms. He's going to have to split his units so well. Those are the High Templar, the dangerous ones. And the SCC's got this window, but the High Templar are wanting the Storm. The factory's going to scout it out, so he shouldn't really eat any Storms here. But the SCC has to stim back. He can't have Storms. Oh, the army's clumped up, and that is a massive Storm. A massive second Storm as well.
Great anticipation there from Fryer, figuring out which direction units are going to move. That second Storm dealing so much damage to the army, completely forces back the SCC here. And Blink forward, picking off the Medivacs, 3 Medivacs and 300 gas. Dear, oh dear, oh dear, the SCC is in a pickle of a situation right now, as Fryer now feels comfortable moving out once again across the map. The supply is now 139 to 76.
Somebody to get the Ukrainian national anthem on, because these units are marching across the map and they are about to take victory as we see so many units. 1-1 is done for the Fryer now as well. So these units don't even have the upgraded advantage like they had in a game before this. They have Blink, they have 1-1, and Archon's in the mix as well. There are so many goddamn gateways behind this too, and all he needs to do is warp in more units, and he will take this victory clean out here versus the STC.
That's right, the only unit on Fryer, well, the only dot on Fryer's half of the map right now that belongs to STC is the scouting factory, ladies and gentlemen. This army is going to crush through the natural expansion. 145 to 71 supply. Fryer now doubling that of his opponent. And we have another cheeky expansion coming out of here from the STC at the 8 o'clock. I almost said 4 there. 8 o'clock position, but I don't think it's going to be enough at all.
Victory Storms incoming right now as they're about to march their way through. One goes down, another one is there to follow. There it is. And with Zealots coming in, Fryer's done it. The SCVs are coming off. Zealots make their way in. Finally, Zealots come into buffer.
GG!
Good game. And Fryer
Wow.
knocks out the STC of DreamHack Bucharest, guarantees himself a slot now in the DreamHack Winter Finals, moving on to the round of 16, gives him 12 points, or 8 points. Round of 8 gives himself 12 points, adding to the 20 he gained in DreamHack Summer, going up to a total of 32 points. That smacks him very much so high on the ranking point system.
That's right, guys. And because we are just a tiny bit behind schedule, we're going to go to a super quick commercial break, and then we're jumping in with our next series. Immediately, we have Hearthstone, ladies and gentlemen, taking on TLO. You don't want to miss this one. Don't go anywhere.